Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back for another Q&A session. Right, so it's 2nd of November now, right? So this is time for me to collate all the questions from you guys, right, and do the Q&A session for the month of October. Right, so for this month, we have quite a few interesting questions, right, in which I want to answer. And of course, once again, thank all of you guys to send in, to put in the effort to send in your questions, right, so I can answer them. Right, so without further ado, let's get this Q&A started. Okay, so first question we have, now that even the series that already have costume is getting PR, right, which is referring to the sprites, or as we old players like to call it, newborn elves, right? What should be the next series to get the PR? Because we have this whole problem about the costume cards, right? So now seeing that newborn elf, which have their Christmas costume getting a power release, it is now possible that the origin of demons are getting that they have a possibility of getting a PR now, right? So bracket, I'm thinking origin demon series, right, which is Mastima, Beelzebub, and Gang. Right, so now it is pretty possible that they are able to get a power release now, but I think Madhead is not gonna power release them so soon, right, because of Beelzebub, right? I think Madhead also agrees, right, that Lucifer is currently like the most powerful seal boss and is more OP than expected, right? So they have to really think through carefully, right, if they are gonna power release that series, because Beelzebub is gonna be even more powerful, and they can't make it too powerful. If not, it's gonna break the game. The Beelzebub, Michael, Lucifer, setup, right? So I think the next series is not gonna be Origin of Demons, but I most probably think it's gonna be the Primal Greek series, right? Maybe after that might be Origin of Demons, right? It's either these two series. That's my guess for the next upcoming power release. Right, so with this, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so when's the Investigator of God series gonna get a PR? Do you think that Jiang Ziya is gonna get the same treatment as Pollux ×6 self-attack? If so, how powerful would he be in the Maya team? Right, so first and foremost, we are not very sure when's the next AR series is gonna be, right, because of what we see in the Memories Traveler Chapter 1, Chapter 2 Zodiacs are getting AR, and we have to collect like 20 pieces of their, their kind of actual pieces in order to do an AR. So I kind of assume that next will be the Investigator of Gods as well, right? But in any case, Jiang Ziya, I doubt he is gonna get the same treatment as Pollux because of not because of Maya. I think Maya is still pretty okay, right? The main concern is the Michael Lucifer the Michael Lucifer setup, right? So Madhead have to really think through whenever they make a new light card or a new demon card, because of Michael Lucifer, right? Because accidentally giving a demon card or a light card a very strong potential, right? When paired with Michael Lucifer, it can do like devastating damage, right? So I doubt Jiang Ziya is going to get the same treatment as Pollux, and also it's also a good thing that if Jiang Ziya do not get the same treatment as Pollux, because we get a more wide range and variety of new AR gameplay. So for Investigator of God AR, right, hopefully we'll see more new type of AR instead of just copying the ones that we have for the Zodiacs, right? So let's move on to the next question. Just randomly stumble here. I did enjoy and appreciate your TOS video, thank you. But my question will be different. Are you still playing guitar? I think it would be nice if you can play and upload some TOS tunes. And yes, I know it's a late comment. It's okay, I usually take in late comments as well. Okay, so I haven't touched my guitar I think for almost 2 years already, right? Which is a very long time. I think my fingers are all stiff and can't play guitar anymore, right? But I would really want to try to play some TOS tunes on guitar if I can, right? But that will take a bit of practice and stuff like that, and I don't know when am I able to master a TOS tune and maybe perhaps upload in the near future, right? I think it's quite an interesting thing to do, right? So let me know if you guys want me to try something like this, right? No promises, because I haven't touched my guitar in a long time. Want me to, you know, do something like this? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so the next few questions are all regarding the new seal boss which came out not too long ago, Chaos, right? And then like how is it, how does it work, is it good, and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go through some of the questions real quick, right? Because there's a lot of questions regarding Chaos. Right, so Sean here asking, how does Chaos Leader skill work? If you turn on a skill, for example, all runes possess effects of X runestones for 1 round, does it stack with the leader skill? Right, so first and foremost, you need to know that you must have at least 4 races in your team in order to have the all runestones possess effect of all runestones. Right, in which you saw it in the trailer video for official Tower of Savior Ember, right? And then of course Yog-Sothoth active skill is to reshuffle the board, and then all runes have effect of all runes, which is what Chaos passive have, right? So does it stack? Yes, it does stack, right? Which is why they kind of like demonstrate it in the trailer video, right? So if you run a Chaos with 4 races and above, and you activate Yog-Sothoth, so every rune will have 200% effect of that attribute, right? So it actually stacks with the leader skill. So I guess that answers your question. Right, so is Chaos better than Yog-Sothoth in terms of leader and hidden passive, because the multiplier of Yog-Sothoth seems higher and her rune movement beat Chaos? Right, so as I always say, for most comparisons, right, they are all of different playstyle, right? So Yog-Sothoth is for those, you know, it's more of a lazy team, right? You have 25-second movement time, and Chaos provides more versatility, I think, right? Because you have additional attack for demons, HP for dragons, and recovery for elves, and it's more of a luxury team, right? Chaos, because of the amount of team cost, if you want to put in more seal bosses, right? So for Yog-Sothoth, I think Yog-Sothoth, in my opinion, is the most underwhelming seal boss out there for us to use, right? I think most of us have forgotten that Yog-Sothoth even existed, right? So I'm really looking forward to Yog-Sothoth's PR, right? Hopefully it's coming soon. And yeah, in my opinion, I think Chaos is definitely better than Yog-Sothoth, right? Because Yog-Sothoth, in a way, it's a weird card, right? Like you have to put more demons in the team to get more damage reduction, right? Where you can actually put 3 enchanters and actually buff up the damage and overall HP as well, right? So let's see what Matt here is going to do with Yog-Sothoth PR. Hopefully they make it into a more versatile card, maybe as a leader or member, right? So we can use kind of buff fire teams in a way, hopefully, right? We'll see how it goes, right? Okay, so Red Chaos leader skill and team suggestion. So I kind of explained a bit of Chaos leader skill just now, right? So I find that Chaos leader skill is the most balanced. I find that Matt here actually did a good job on balancing this whole Chaos leader skill, right? So note that you have to put 4 races in the team in order to get the all attributes, as I mentioned earlier, right? On top of that, you can see that they only give buff for the 3 races, right? You have demons, you buff the demon attack. If you have dragons, you buff the dragon HP, and if you have elf, you buff the recovery for the elf only. And so, oh, and also beast, right? Beast increase, for every beast you increase 0.5 second movement time, if I remember correctly. Right, so notice that humans missing, right? Because of the capability of the enchantress, right? The 3 enchantress, right? So with their they're kind of a very big buff in most teams, right? So by not having any buff for human race, it kind of balanced out the thing, right? So I find that Matt did a good job in balancing this Chaos card, right, to make it not so strong, right? So maybe they will further enhance the leader skill once Chaos get his PR, which is really not anytime soon, right? So for team suggestion, so far I find one team that is very, very strong, right? You guys can go check it out. Chaos, Sus, Media, yes. Put the Enchantress in. These two Enchantress, right? Leave Cassandra out. You have Nihawk as well as Lancelot from the Knight of the Round Table series. Right, so by running this setup, you can see that there is no water cut. There is no water cut, and you can use Lancelot's convert water into enchant dark for more, kind of like dark burst or kind of something like that. Right, Lancelot is there for the extra damage. Media is there for the damage. Sus is there for the damage. Nihawk is a big buff, big HP buff to this team, right? And then with the change of Nihawk's active skill, right, because of chaos, this team is a monster with a decent amount of recovery, a lot of HP, a lot of burst as well, right? So, but the downside of it is the neutralize reset, right? So, give this team a try and let me know. Alright, so that pretty much concludes most of the questions asked regarding chaos, gameplay, team setup, leader skills, etc. Right, so let's move on to the next question. What do you think of the style of gameplay of the Flower Elves? Right, so Flower Elves is the new series that is up for us to draw. And what do I think of it? So I think Madhead is moving away to more elf. Right, this whole patch is about elves, right? I think it's to give more versatility to the elf race, because previously it's just Diablo, we have Lucy, that's about it. Yeah? Is there any more? Can't. But these two are like the main series, right? So by introducing that Flower Elves, now we have Rose, we have Sakura, we have Cornflower. Right, so all three of them provide different gameplay. Yeah, so first and foremost, let me talk about Sakura, because that's the only card that I have as of now. Right, I've been playing a lot of Sakura gameplay, and I find that in terms of gameplay, is very, very versatile. Right, like you can play the tumbler effect kind of setup, right, in which you have to put 3 of the Flower Elves in to get the tumbler effect, and then it's actually quite a stable team to play, right? Also, due to the amount of sky drop, enchanted fire and enchanted heart runes, right, you can put AR Gemini and AR Gemini and Kyo Kusanagi from the King of Fighters series, right? It can actually dish out tons and tons of damage. Also, add in Sus for the additional combo, since it is 2 dissolve for fire as well as heart runes. And the versatility of fire and heart possessing effects of other attributes, right? So it makes this team extremely versatile in terms of the team members. Right? Of course, you need to fulfill the 4,000 recovery for the maximum efficiency of the team, right? So you still have to put basically like gods, elves, human to some extent. Right, so dragon and beast recovery is a no-no, so it's still a bit of restriction here and there. Right, so let's talk about Rose. Right, so Rose is this new gameplay, right, that is being introduced by Madhead. Right, so all the while we have been playing from. Okay, let's talk about the very beginning, right, of TOS. Everybody starts spinning 3x3 horizontally to get the maximum amount of combos possible. Right, if you go through my very old videos by running Loki Tati, the good old times, right, is the stacking, the time tunnel stacking is all horizontal, right, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 combos, and that's how we stack runes last time, right? But if you were to do like maybe a Ophiuchus time tunnel or a Tati time tunnel now, right, most of the time you will do a vertical aligning in order to trigger amelioration. Right, so Rose brings back the old gameplay, right, in which if you dissolve Rose, you will sky drop more heart runes, and heart runes possess effect of 75%, if I remember correctly, of other attributive runestones. Right, so it brings back the horizontal dissolve playstyle. Right, I think the last time we have this kind of playstyle was Marguerite from Monster Strike. right, which is very, very long ago, right? And then one downside I feel is that you can't really activate amelioration, right? So there is a bit of a downside for Rose team, but the damage is still very massive. So maybe that is how they balance the damage, right? By doing horizontal dissolve, you don't activate amelioration, so it balances out the damage. Maybe that's what they want. Right, so anyway, more on Rose gameplay once I obtain the card. Right, so for Cornflower, this is one of the weird cards, right? By running full elf, right, you get a +8 combo, and also active skill, it dissolves runestones that is not the enemy's weakness, something like that, right? It's a weird active skill in which you can actually lack runestones after the dissolve, right? So I think I'll go through more in depth of Cornflower in once I obtain the card, because it's quite a weird card, right, in a way, because you can't really utilize the whole leader skill, right? The whole effect of the leader skill. If you put certain cards, like if you want to put in Cassandra, then it's not a mono elf team, right? You know what I mean? But the good thing about water elves is that there is plenty of them, right? You have Pupuro, you have I think water elves is the most, right? You have Andromeda as well, which is a very, very good addition to this Cornflower team, right? So I promise you guys to go in more in depth on Rose as well as Cornflower in the future videos that I'm gonna upload, right? So let's move on to the next question. Alright, so this will be the last question of this Q&A session, right? So I specifically picked this question because I find that it is something that actually triggers my thinking, right? In a way. So let's take a look here. Right, so hi, I know it's last day of October, but I think that there's a new enemy skill that Madhead's sadistic stuff has implemented. Actually, to be honest, it's not really sadistic. I find that it's a very easy skill to bypass. Right, so do you think that this could be a problem in future SM with a few tweaks here and there? Right, so here she actually attached a screenshot, right, in which let's take a look at it. Alright, so we are back here with our gaming layout, right? So the screenshot that she actually attached is the guild event's boss skill, right? So let's take a look here. The enemy will not receive any damage caused by active skill. For each attributive runestones dissolved, 2% of the enemy HP will be deducted. Upon receiving damage from the enemy's attack for the first time, a random column will be, which is the column and rows of the, same old stuff. Right, so the main thing is that every attributive runestones dissolve, 2% enemy HP will be deducted. So this is the new thing. Right, so you might find that this is quite familiar because we only have the heart shield previously. Right, by dissolving a number of heart runes, you minus the enemy's HP. But in turn, now is attributive runestone. So it's all the red, green, blue, light and dark runes, excluding heart runes in order to damage this particular guy here. 2% of enemies for each runestone, so 2%, right? So one turn you can actually deal at least 6% because one set of 3 runestones will be 6% damage, right? So in total 50 runes, 50 attributive runes have to be dissolved in order to kill off this boss, right? So which is why I find that this might be a wild speculation, but this might maybe hint a VR Greek soon, maybe, right? So Evelyn's comment, right, maybe future SM they might tweak the skill here and there, right? So let's say maybe SM they turn it up a bit, right? Like 1% of enemy HP will be deducted per attributive runestone. So that's a lot of runes to dissolve, right? So maybe they will use that to force us to use the VR Greeks in the future, right? Who knows, right? Because the only thing that debunk this prediction is there is actually many other teams out there that can actually dissolve more than 50 runes, right? You do not have to use Greek to actually solve the problem. Like King of Fighters, my convert can actually wipe out a lot of runes, right? Plus the sky drops. Let's take a look at Babylonians. Babylonians is possible as well. We have Anchor 2, we have Lynx, and maybe Orochi, right? Remember the Orochi King of Fighter Ultimate stage. All these cards are possible, right? But just a wild speculation, right? With all these attributive runestones, meaning that we have all these, we have to dissolve a certain number of attributive runestones, right? Maybe they have to, the boss may be even more specific, saying that only maybe 2% damage what am I saying? 2% damage, 2% HP will be deducted per maybe water runes dissolve, right? So that actually forces you to use Poseidon, right? Who knows? Maybe VR Greek in the future, this actually indicates something. Who knows, right? So this is just my wild prediction. And so by, you know, doing a Greek setup, like in this case, is definitely more than 50 runes, and that is a one-hit kill for sure. Alright, so this is just a wild guess, right? If the VR Greeks actually happen, I'm gonna be really amazed. Right, so this is one of the few tactics you can actually clear. It's not really a sadistic skill, right? As you mentioned in the as a question, right? So there is actually many ways to bypass this skill. In fact, this is actually even easier to bypass compared to the hard shield. Alright, so in fact, Sakura, right? Sakura is actually good to counter this kind of boss skill as well. Okay, so I guess that will be it for this month of Q&A session, right? Chaos, Yog-Sothoth, all these, those are very interesting questions, right? So really, in my opinion, what am I looking for in the upcoming patch will be not really upcoming patch, for upcoming few patches, right? I'm not sure when all of these are gonna drop, but Yog-Sothoth power release, the next power release series, right? Hopefully Origin of Demons or the Primal Greeks, and also maybe possible release of VR, right? Hopefully the Greek gods, right? Because I guess it's about time, right? I predicted the previous Virtual Rebirth, which is the Blood Fiends, or Crimson Grace, if you guys want to call it, right? Hopefully I get it right this time also. Alright, so anyway, that's all for this Q&A session, right? Hopefully you guys are satisfied with the answers that I give, right? So November's Q&A will be out very soon as well, right? So with this, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.